Got a Twosun, and I'm kind of excited because Timber's Edge got a bunch of new Twosuns in, and so I get to look at them. Oh, I didn't spin it. Well, yeah, there's a half spin. This box is heavy, massive. Okay, well, I can see why. Look at the knife here, man. Wow. This thing's big, and it's got a mountain of oil on it. Look at all the oil, man, that these come packed in. Ooh, I'm going to get rid of the box right out of the gate. Yep. So I'm going to mention it here. Maybe I'll talk about it again by the end of the video, but I'm thinking about offering this service, what I do here, this check-in, check-out process on a new knife purchase over at Timber's Edge Knife, like it's an add-on service. So if you want me to tune the knife up and go through it, I'm thinking about making it so you could add that service. And what's got me thinking about it is because a lot of people that buy knives there request that I check out their knife. And I don't mind doing it, but I also need to support the channel. And so, I mean, it would be kind of a easy way to make a couple of bucks. I mean, I don't know what I'd charge for it, but I might just have you throw it in the comments. Is that something you'd be interested? And like, let's use this knife as an example. So you can see all the oil I'm cleaning off of it. This is just a straight out of the box Twosun, direct from Yangjiang. And we're going to walk it through the process. And then maybe at the end of the video, I'll ask you guys, would you want that service and what would you pay for it? TS575 in M390 steel, tall flat grind M390 blade, satin finished titanium scales, titanium pocket clip. It's got this interesting ball clip going on here. The scales have been machined such that the backspacer is integral. It's got a lanyard hole that's been also machined into the scales. And then on this side, it's got a huge pivot with a anodized collar. Crown spine. And then it's got some jimping that's unique in that it's not cross-hatched. They actually drilled down some holes, and what a unique little kind of, and it's grippy, kind of custom feature there. Look at this thing, man. It is very large. And very nice. The jimping on the flipper comes all the way over the top. I will say that this is stiff. You know, if I had to grade that action right now, it'd probably be a low B towards a C, because I am really having to dig in. You can see it's denting my thumb. I'm having to dig in with my thumb to get that out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and get in here, but I'm going to make a mental note of where I'm lining up here on this lock so I can see where this is at once it's open. It's just like the inside of that outside edge. Yeah, so let's get in it. Wow, what a beast. What a beast. Yeah, before I do that, I'm going to check this pocket clip. Yeah, I love new Twosun models, man. I still get excited about it. I know that there's, you know, like the fact that I'm moving some of my inventory. That goes well on the thick stuff. Look at that look, man. and it actually runs really well on this thick stuff. It's got great tension. You can hear it click coming out of there. Let's see how it does on standard jean size material. Yeah, ditto. They've got it tuned up really well. I mean, it kind of pops going over the seam, but it's got decent tension. What about here in my spot? Yeah, I dig it, man. And all the milling on that clip. So what's that? Topography, like goes from low to high there. Pretty cool. All right, now I'm going to leave the clip alone. It's mounted from the inside, but it's running well. All right, let's get in here. It's clearly got to be captured because this pivot's not machined on this side. Now that I mention it, that's all that's on the show side of the knife is the non-machined pivot. What a clean look. I didn't even notice it at first. Like, I mean, I noticed it because the knife looks so good, but yeah. And then double screws back here on this corner. Beefy hardware. Double rolled cage bearings. Pretty sure I just got a pin that's kind of holding on to me here. Yeah. So one pin, and it's in the back as well, goes here. One pin, lots of skeletonizing. Yeah. Big anodized blue collar, and then non-machine pivot. Very cool. And then it's got hardened steel washers to go against the titanium for the bearings to run on. Solid. And then, yeah, all this is machined right into the titanium. Skeletonized, so fairly light for such a big piece. And then the only other piece right here is this pin, and it's set pretty hard, so I think I'm going to leave it be. I'm going to go ahead and clean up, and then we'll check the lineup on that lock. Get all this oil out of here. So it's worth mentioning on these Twosuns, I mean, I am grateful for all this oil for a couple of reasons. One is that the knives come well lubed and protected. Many would say overprotected. That would be a reasonable thing to say, I would think, considering how much oil these, I mean, they seem like they're dipped, right? But the other reason is because they really, as I started to collect Twosun knives, they really encouraged me to get in these knives and take them apart and experience that side of it. Now, did I take knives apart before Twosuns? I did. But man, once I started collecting Twosuns, it became like a mandatory thing. You know, that I'd get a Twosun, I had to get in it, where other knives, I might not have got in them right away. You know, like the whole check-in. But you buy a Twosun knife, even today, as you can see, brand new model. What is this? The 575. And it's just covered in oil. And so you got to get in there and get that oil out of there. And so definitely encouraged to do so. Well, let's look at this lock. So see where it's at here? Well, when it's locked up, it's way over there. So yeah, I'm going to take about half of that distance out of that. But in order to do that, I've got to take this metal insert out, because this little tab also serves as a stop, an over travel stop. So if you're following along and you're working on your knife, whether it's this model or another model, and you're going to adjust this lockup because it's too tight, be aware you probably have to remove, if it's got a metal insert, titanium scales. A lot of times these have this little tab, and they also act as an over travel stop. So on this particular knife, T8's on the pivot and the screws, and then T6 on this small little metal insert. And these small T6s, look how small this screw is. There's an important note here on these tiny screws, like for these, sometimes for like carbon fiber inserts, things like that. Man, it's so important to have good bits in your screwdriver. Not only good manufactured bits, but fresh bits, because, you know, through time and use, they round. And man, you go at some of these tiny screws, especially these metal inserts. Oop, I didn't adjust it. You got to be able to get a good bite on it. All right. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to move that from where it's at over a little bit, which is going to remove tension on that lock. I took about half of that. So there we go. I just noticed something too. I'm going to put this screw in and then I'm going to mention it. This is a screw that you also want to put back fairly snug. You don't ever want that coming loose. Like, that needs to be locked in. The ball pocket clip is resting on the lock. It's not up on the scale. It's on the lock face. And so that could be contributing to the resistance that I was feeling there as well. We're going to find out. Because I took about half of that tension off of that. And here's the thing. When I'm doing that, I tend to take more. Like, you know, the old adage, less is more type thing. And I subscribe to that. Like, you know, go in small increments, blah, blah, blah. But when I'm adjusting those lock bars, if I'm going to lean to more or less, I'm going to lean into more. The reason is because I can just take this scale off and add tension this way back into this without removing this and doing all kinds of stuff. If I don't take enough, I got to take this off again. And I really kind of only want to take this off once if I can do it. So I'd rather change this more and then have to come in here and add a little back than to not do enough and have to take this apart again. And you know what I mean? Makes sense? We're on the small pieces now. I mean, kind of a premium knife here. That's the feel I'm getting. That's the vibe I'm getting on this piece. And it hasn't been out long, so I would not be surprised to see the price on this knife go up. It's just one of those that I think they come out with a budget number on some of these, and once they start to sell on live auctions and they see what people are willing to pay for them, would not shock me in the least to see the asking price on this knife to go up a little bit. Because it's legit. It is a big knife, great materials, really good fit and finish. Little dab will do you. And I'm going to add just a little of the slick stuff over here where the detent ball is running. Kind of assist it a little bit. I think that's us. I think we're home. And then the pivot screw on this side, it's just tiny, which, you know, is plenty. I'm going to put one of these in back here to balance. I'm going to leave the other one out because there's no sense me locking down like that until I check this action. I think I'm loose. Yep. Got some wiggle in there. Oh yeah. Over a quarter of a turn of wiggle. Yeah, now the blade is centered. It's always a good indicator. If the pivot's loose, the blade will not be centered. It takes the tension to center a blade. Wow, look at that drop shot action. I mean, it's not surprising because the size of that blade. I mean, just apply gravity to something that big and it's bound to do that right there. Wowie wow. Locked up super tight. Well, I mean, one of the questions is going to be, do I have enough lockup? Yeah. So this went from a low B. I mean, let's talk about the action. Hold on. Let's get this other screw in, and then we're going to move on. Because, man, is that improved. Make sure we're snug here. Yep. Okay. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. All right, here we go. Let's talk about this action. Nice jimping here, so can I fail it? No. I think it's important to be aware that this is on the lock face. There's enough handle material here that I don't have to wear that out. But yeah, I can't fail the action. And it's 100% drop shut. Access to the lock bar. This is scalloped. I mean, naturally they scalloped the whole bottom of this, but that's scalloped with, when I say naturally, I just mean that it's a natural scallop that goes with the whole scale. They didn't specifically scallop this section for access, but it is lowered, scalloped on the inside. This is scalloped over on this side. And so now reaching in with the right tension on here, that's super easy to disengage. Very, very intuitive. So, I mean, the action on this knife now, once it's tuned up, I mean, it's an A-level action, for sure. I mean, I'm going to leave it at A right now. We'll see. Maybe because of this, but I don't know that that's impacting that negatively. If it's creating tension, like see where I'm holding it? I'm pressing down on the pocket clip. The knife's just snappy as all get out. I mean, it's got the acoustics. It kind of rocks in my hand from the force of that blade coming out of there. I mean, I'm going to call the action an A. Let's do ergonomics. Very comfortable in the hand. I'm locked in. Not so confident, very confident. The flipper tab creates a nice finger guard here, very locked in. It is smooth titanium, but with all that said, this goes towards a very confident grip. Like, this is a big knife with a full hand of titanium and steel. The jimping is, it's noticeable. It's not combat level stuff, but it's definitely noticeable. It's providing a great platform for the thumb. Very comfortable in hand. The pocket clip disappears in the proper space. You can see where it goes here. It's not hot at all. Let's go reverse. Really nice natural cap for the thumb with the knife on this level. The fingers grab the pocket clip nice. Yeah, this is very intuitive and wonderful. And I can get here, and for me, I'd rather be here without capping that. I can kind of sideways cap it, but I'd rather be here. This grabs my palm so well that this is drive it through a board power grip. Yeah, wonderful, very confident grip right here. And I'd rather be here than here. Yep, very nice. We already run that pocket clip. It worked well. We checked the lockup, the safety. The scales create their own backspacer. What kind of big old wonderful Viking looking lanyard could you put off the back of this dude? The tip is recessed, so the clip's good, tip's good, and I can handle this knife any way I want without contacting the big part or the sharp part. How about that detent on the bottom? Yeah, nice and snappy here. It clicks in there, holding it well. M390 from Twosun. What do we got? Base to tip, razor blade, wonderful. All right, come on, man. Wow, this thing. Let's see if I can get a price on it. Obviously, you can find this over at Timber's Edge Knives, because that's who I got it from, right? And I'll be right back. Let me see if I can find a price on it. Okay, well, my understanding is there's a gold anodized version, but this version is going to be around 150 something. And then, of course, if you subscribe over there, you can save 10% off of that, which puts it at like 135. So yeah, that's my understanding. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if it was a tad more. This is a legit, really cool piece. Hey, I appreciate you watching. So before I go, hey, the best thing you could do to help me is to subscribe and then hit that like button down there. I saw somebody talk about this, and so I checked on our channel here, and 6 out of 10 of the people that are going to watch this video aren't subscribed. So clicking subscription and allowing notifications, all it does is help. Whether you become a member or support the channel financially, man, just subscribing makes a lot of difference. And then I wanted to add, last thing. So I asked the question. So do me a favor, comment down below. So if you bought this knife at Timber's Edge and had a choice between this one and just a straight up one out of the bag, the one straight from Yanjing, oily, not tuned, not checked in, which would you rather have, and what would you pay to have me do this to it? Exactly what I did here. Just check it in, go through the knife. I'm not going to narrate it because I could get through this a lot faster if I didn't have to talk about it and think about what I'm saying. Just focus on the knife and instead of figuring out what's trying to come out of my mouth, that kind of thing. But what would that be worth if you were going to buy this new from Timber's Edge? And would you? Listen, I get it. A lot of people that watch this channel, one of the biggest selling items on Timber's Edge Knives is the bit driver with the bits. I mean, have they sold 100 of these? I don't know, but I know it's a lot, man. And initially, they were just buying the bit driver, but then they put a package together that comes with 2 of these T8s and 2 T6s, and I mean, 100 maybe. I don't know, man, but they have sold a lot of those stupid bit drivers. I call them stupid, but I dig it, man. It's all I use. And I've had people try to send me other ones to get me to use them. And it's like, nah, bro, I'm happy. I'm good. And now I've thought about replacing this one with a new one, but this was a gift, so I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm just kind of loyal to it, because I could easily just have 2 of these, which I don't know, stupid. But it wouldn't surprise me if the vast majority says, nah, bro, just send me the oily knife, because I enjoy taking my own knives apart. But not everybody does that. So really, this is for the people that aren't going to take their knife apart, or potentially are not. Would you like it to come to you checked in like I just did on this knife? And what would that be worth to you? Like, if you could add it in your cart, what would that be worth? Let's say the knife was 150. What would you be willing to add to that knife to get that? Anyways, appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Got more of these new Twosuns coming.